Hello there, I am Lori Delk.
Hello, I am Catherine Sarah Myers. Rara is in the house.
And we are the Gratitude Girls. And while we speak to you tonight, if you have questions, comments, or anything else you'd like to share with us, you are welcome to post them below this video right in the comments section.
Lori, hello, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm great. So nice to see you again, and so nice of our audience to be joining us this evening. Hello to our friends who mentioned that they'll be watching live, and to those of you who will be watching us later, recorded. Lori, I have so much that I want to share with you tonight. I was thinking about this. I know that we've planned wonderful things for tonight, but something just came up that I'd like to share with you, and it's a gratitude story. So may I do that?
Awesome. Yes, that would be wonderful.
Great. Right now as we speak, a friend of mine is in my building actually rehearsing. So I won't say too much about that because it might be something that is quite secretive. But I will say this. Did you ever hear of Murphy's Law?
Yes.
Well, it happens. It happens in many people's lives. And today there was, for my friend, rain, traffic, delays, four people coordinating, meeting together. I was the liaison for everyone because they were meeting here and still are here. And timing is of the essence for most people, leaving and preparing and scheduling everything. And when my friend saw that she was going to be late, she was panicking with, what am I going to do? For me, it was nothing. I'm here. I'm home. I'm in our condo. It's not a big deal. I'm in my lobby. I'm safe. And I'm talking to her, reassuring her, don't worry about the traffic. You'll get here when you get here. Everybody will be fine. And I was sitting in the lobby, and I kind of put my phone, down, and I stood up to get in the elevator, and there was a woman sitting on the couch, and she said, "Are you Rara? Is that?" And she said my friend's name, and I said, "Yes." She said, "I'm here." And I said, "Oh, okay, well, I'm not going back up to my condo. Come with me." So we got the permission, and we entered into the piano in the billiard room, and I brought her in, and she sat down, and I said, "I hope you don't mind to relax." And my friend was still panicking about the traffic moving. I think 5 kilometers was the most it was going. And at that time, I said, "Don't worry, contact your other friends." Long story short, finally, perhaps it was an hour late, I'm not too sure from the scheduled time, everybody comes together. I'm in my lobby. We say hello, just say, don't worry about what happened. The show must go on. And as I'm getting ready to prepare for tonight and, review my notes, my friend gives me a bag. Now, there are things that are important to us in our life, and I'm sure our friends know about it, but I'm always looking for something in the morning, a recipe, and what we're going to eat. So in the bag is a beautiful thank you card, 3 fantastic lavender, my absolute favorite soaps, and this book, 500 gluten-free recipes. Now, just to share about gratitude, I don't know how she had time to go and do all of that. I'm sure she did in her busy day. She drove from Burlington to downtown Toronto to be here, so she had traffic. And she hands me the thing that is quite important to me, especially this week. 500 recipes. Every morning, my husband and I talk about what we're going to eat. Usually for the week, we have it planned, but we're always looking for something different. So the point of my story is, here I was doing what I thought was absolutely nothing, very natural, just waiting, being in my home. And it was helping her, and she gives me something that I will be able, I guess it will take me quite a while to go through 500 recipes. If I do one great meal a day, I'll be looking at almost, 2 years, a year and a half. So it will be something I will open up every single day, and I will take a recipe. And what I will do is I will keep you posted on what recipes I like, what recipes I don't like throughout the Gratitude Girls show, and thanks to a gift that my friend gave me. So perhaps we'll have a section that talks about gluten-free dishes or some of the food that we eat, because I know you and I have a fond relationship with good, healthy food.
Absolutely. Yes, that sounds like a wonderful gift, isn't it?
It's great. So I will be happy to share that with our audience and with you. And now let me just ask you a quick question, because gratitude stories happen all around us throughout the day, and amazing things. Before I tell you the next impromptu story of something that happened to me today, because I had great things happen today, do you have something that happened to you recently that you would like to share with our audience? Because Murphy's Law happens to everyone, and good news happens to everyone, and amazing things, and we get through 24 hours just like everyone else. Sometimes we're not too sure what's coming around the corner, but maybe you have something that you can share with us.
Well, let's see. I have, of course, lots of great things that happen all the time. One of the things when I was out playing in Salt Lake City with you a couple weeks ago, I had some really good friends of mine that also happened to be flooring installers. They came to my house while we were gone playing, and they installed this beautiful hardwood floor for me in my living room. So many of you might have seen like the last couple shows where my living room was just a little bit in a raise and a little bit of a mess. And so now we're working on getting the living room back into order. But I have beautiful hardwood floors, so that is a wonderful thing. And I'm very appreciative of that, because they went and did it, you know, while I was gone. They came in when I came home after being gone for a week. I walked into it done. And so that was wonderful.
That was amazing. And when we were together also, it was great that you had that communication with the people in your home. And so nice to come home to. I mean, it wasn't a surprise, but it must have felt like a surprise because you walked home and it was done. That's great. And you know, Lori, it does look beautiful from what I can see. And I know that we've talked about it before. It must feel terrific to have totally brand new floors, right?
Yes, it does. Yes, now I'm looking at what's wrong in my kitchen and my bathrooms.
Oh, will we be going through additional renovations through the next shows? Okay, keep us posted on that. Well, you know, talk about redoing and transforming. This morning I woke up and said, oh, I can't go on our show like that. You know, we have people in our lives that we can call, and they say yes. Here's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my hairdresser. Now, many of us are grateful for the people in our lives who help us to look beautiful. And I called my hairdresser this morning and I explained to him that we have a show tonight, and where did the time fly? And there's absolutely no way I could sit in front of our screen, our show, and then look at that recorded unless my color was just right. And his answer was, what time do you want to come, Catherine? I said, okay. Gave him the time and gave him my busy schedule, and he said, pick the time. And he took me. You know, talk about the people in our life. Not only those that surprise us, but those that are there month after month, and they never say no. How grateful I am for Michelle. And I'll show him this clip. Can I mention this business?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Michelle Matar, he owns Alter Ego Hair Salon in Richmond Hill, Ontario. And my parting words to him today, and this wasn't because he took me, because he always sees me, was, Michelle, you do hair better than anyone who has ever done my hair before. He has magic hands. So I wanted Michelle to know how I felt about him and his business. And he's 40 years seasoned in this business. It's amazing. Talk about people who know what they're doing.
Nice. Well, and you look absolutely gorgeous, so obviously he does great work.
Thank you. Color, he just knows exactly what to do. You know, when you have a good, talented person, then they can make everything look good. And there's someone else I want to mention, or another group of people in our life. You know, we're surrounded by people who take care of our surroundings, and we live in a condo building, and we sometimes take for granted the people that have the jobs that they come. Tonight I learned that the people who take care of our building start work at 6:30, this one group, and finish at 4:30. And you know, you think about what are you doing at 6:30 in the morning, and this This gentleman, he comes to work, so he must get up at whatever hour to take care of his morning activity and breakfast and exercise, and he's at our condo building at 6:30. I'm very grateful for those people who make sure that when things are broken that they get fixed, that they keep our environment clean and healthy, that they're there to look out for all the things that we maybe don't look out for, or pick up something if we drop it. And my husband is, I don't know what to say, amazing things, but Lori, he has great habits, and he does amazing things, and he sees people on a daily basis, probably more people than I see on a regular basis. And the other day when he came in and he said, I saw Michael, you know, he always has a smile, and he smiled at each other, and they had a conversation. And tonight I was thanking Michael and speaking with him. I just want to say this to our audience. If there are people around you that have a job and you just take for granted that that job is something that they have to do, well, they choose to do it. And they so appreciate a smile and a kind word and a kind gesture. And it was my husband's idea to do something very special for Michael, and I thought, why did I think of that? What was wrong with me? Why hadn't I gone a little bit deeper? So I'm really guilty of following the lead, David's lead. So when you have somebody around you, don't take them for granted. Gratitude girls need to think about everyone. Sometimes we're looking at the big picture, but we also need to look at the people right in front of us. And Lori, I have another gratitude story, talking about people to be grateful for. And this happened last week. Do you ever have someone in your life who smiles? Just smiles at you? For 4 years, there is a gentleman. His name is Angel, and he works in a local supermarket. And for 4 years, he has smiled and said hello to us. And for 4 years, David speaks to him. They have conversations and smiles back. And I'm usually either not there or, you know, too busy. And the other day, Angel came up and said hello, and I went back over to him and said hello, and we had a conversation. And I thought, what have I been thinking? For 4 years, this man is smiling. Why can I not do something special for him? So I came up with an idea of something that I can do for him. I don't want to say I took him for granted, but I didn't stop for 30 seconds to think about the person that was in front of me that was smiling. You know, we're searching for the big happening, the big aha moment, but it was right there in front of me. So I'm doing something nice for Angel, and I'm sure he'll be surprised. And I thought, am I ignoring other people in my life? I want our audience to think about that. Think about the people who open your car door, or who clean your car, clean your house, or cut your grass, put in your floors, take care of your hair. And during the course of the day, we have so many people to be grateful for. Do we stop and thank them? Do we stop and thank them and listen to their answer about how are they? Do you ever hear someone say, how are you? And you can't answer because they're on to the next sentence. You wonder, did you really care how I am? I'm sure we're all guilty of it. Hi, how are you? And we say what we want to say because it's all about us. But one of the teachings that I am teaching myself is to stop, listen to what the other person is saying, and then listen to the hidden meaning. What are they maybe not saying, especially if they're shy? And do something for them. I start my day with a gratitude exercise. Obviously, one exercise a day is not enough. I am now going to add another one because I realized that I was not digging deep enough. So I will go the extra step. And perhaps I will take another 5 minutes during the day at another time of day, because habits become exactly that. They're habits, and then do we think about them again? So I'm going to take my agenda after tonight's show, and I'm going to pick a time, and I'm going to put a 5-minute gratitude time, and I'm going to think about what's happened to me so far in the day, and have I really gone out of my way to thank those people Even if it's a smile or a phone call, we have so many things that we can do, but the people that we overlook. I would like to put that out there tonight to our audience. We hear stories, but we create stories for other people. Imagine what they're going to say to their family when they go home. Say, there was a really nice woman today who stopped and asked me how I felt. You know, when we were together last month, we had an exercise, something that we did, and there was a card that said, someone who has a positive attitude no matter what, and I gave that to Sandy. And I didn't know Sandy, but I just felt that it was something she would enjoy. Sometimes you don't have to know someone. You just go by intuition. I had a feeling, and I acted on that. We could teach that as Gratitude Girls. It's not just what's in your schedule. We can schedule in and think about gratitude, but intuitively, we want to be tuned into that vibe. We want to let people know that we are a person, and we are the kind of person that will recognize something that touches us and moves us.
Yes, and we've been given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? We're supposed to listen more than how much we talk. And noticing things, I remember watching a show one time. It was one of those TED Talk videos, and it was about this woman that talked, I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but she talked about that, and she just said, notice things. Take your notepad and notice things throughout the day, and notice things that go on around you, because a lot of times, that's it, like you said, you just go on about your day and you just don't think about those things. And if you take the time to notice things around you, you're going to see how much difference and how much good you actually have in your life that you can be grateful for.
And that you're so right. And that just reminded me of something. Today I had an appointment, and I went 10 minutes early because I wanted to be early. And I wanted to choose the right table, and I wanted to be near a plug in case we needed a plug. And I thought, I'm also going to take a 5-minute breather. And I consider myself extremely observant. But there was someone at the next table who was way more observant than me. And I thought, oh, that's not very often that I meet someone that's really paying that much more attention. Long story short, I have a phone conversation with Renee set for 10:30 tonight. Not only did Renee ask if I needed another seat or needed another table, he was so generous, he started to talk to me. And I was thinking, I'm going to have a few minutes by myself. And we had so much in common. He told me about his wife and his children and how he used to dance and the business he had. And it just so happened that we have a lot of things in common. And my friend who was joining us, I introduced her to him. When my meeting was done, I left and my friend was still standing there speaking with him. I am so grateful that he paid attention. Did I need more room? And what he said was, if you needed the space, I would give it to you. I thought, well, that's really nice. There must have been some message that I gave that I was open to him speaking to me, although he was extremely sociable. And when you walk into a room or a situation with an open mind, people can feel that. They can see that you're open. And that's when great things happen. And the end to that story is we invited Renee to our picnic on Thursday to join us and meet a few other people. So had Renee not been open and had he not said what he said besides hello, and we didn't think of it right away, it took us 15 or 20 minutes, and I said, Renee, what are you doing on Thursday? Would you like to meet a few more people? You seem to be very sociable. And he said, oh, sure. And I said, okay. We put phone numbers in our cell phones. We texted each other immediately. And we actually have new acquaintance based on being 10 minutes early and being open, not being rushed. Look at what happens. I had no clue that would be a gentleman that we would have invited to our picnic on Thursday, but I guess it was just meant to be.
And how amazing is that? Things work out that way, you know, when you even don't plan them, but you take time to spend time with life instead of being so rushed. You know, I'm rushed a lot of the time, but I try not to be. But how nice is it when you just take that time to just breathe in life, you know, and go with the flow and allow those great things to come into your life and to happen.
Yes, I always say to keep an empty hanger in your closet, an empty shelf in your cupboard. Leave some space in your drawers so that you can have new things in your life. Because if everything is jam-packed, where is something new going to happen? And not to be cold, but there's an activity in your life that is not really doing what you want it to do. You know, change it. Leave some space. I have a day called Fun Friday. I'd like to share this with you. So another thing that I do to attract, the law of attraction, is I thought about my schedule. And yes, we're busy. We know how to fill our schedule. We know how to be busy with productive activity, and sometimes it's not productive, although we don't like to admit that, but I'm sure that there are things that are not exactly, you know, we can change that. So I decided I would build in one day of the week where I put all my fun. And I only do things with people that are fun. Doesn't mean I'm skipping rope and having a party and eating cupcakes. It means that they have to be basically a fun person. And if not, I don't say, no, I won't see you on Friday, you're not fun, unless they're watching this show. But I will arrange to see them if they're fun. Otherwise, Friday is not an option for me at all. And I have to tell you, Fridays are great. I look forward to them. I know that whomever I put into that day, if there is a coffee date or a lunch appointment or even a phone appointment, it's a fun person. So the key is find out what's important to other people and then communicate that currency with them. So for me, the fun factor is really important. Not every day, all day, but for sure it needs to be part of the day. And now you know it's on Fridays. Do you have a little secret you can share with us about your schedule?
Let's see. Well, yes. Let's see. I do also actually like to add things on Fridays as well. On Fridays, I actually do my networking luncheons. So from 11:30 to 1, I run a business referral networking luncheon for different business people. So we have that, but then always my son comes with me to help me set up and clean up and take care of all that. And so a lot of times that's our special fun Friday afternoon is time with him afterwards, going to do something, whether it's going to a movie or going shopping or sometimes coming home and relaxing.
That's nice. You built it in so that by default you have no choice. You're together, so you have that time. You're not going to, something won't come up, right, where you won't be together.
Right.
That's beautiful. Imagine this. Imagine that our audience thinks about their special friend, someone in their life. Like we schedule our time together. We schedule our show. If we miss each other, we know we can always text and put a quick call. But we schedule and we make sure that we build our relationship. It's important to us. So imagine the friends in other people's lives that they maybe didn't pay attention to. Right? Sometimes people say, oh, I don't want to bother them. But maybe they're thinking you're too busy for them. So schedule it. Maybe make a day to get in touch with friends. Just say, hi, how you doing? No agenda. Just listen to the answer. 5 minutes. I don't think I remember the last time I gave an answer to a question without somebody giving me a question back. So I have this friend And sometimes, well, she calls me. We have scheduled calls, and she's also, we do business together in my company called Bridge. And often I'll say to her, let's just breathe. And we'll take a minute and we will just breathe before we say anything. It shifts the energy. We just go. I know it seems silly. Doesn't it feel different now? Try that with somebody. Breathe. That was like 15 seconds, not even. Sometimes I say we're going to breathe for a minute. And you're thinking, a minute? I could have said 20 things in a minute. How about saying nothing? That really shifts things. I like that. Not a lot of people respond to that, but this friend of mine, like, she definitely does. And I love to say, hello, let's breathe. We get it. We get it. Whether it's at 10 o'clock at night that we're talking or in the middle of the day. Do you ever hear people calling you only when they're in the car? I think, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. You're driving. Maybe it's not the best time to be talking to me. What if I'm trying to paint a picture and I know you're paying attention to the traffic? I don't know if that's a good idea. So sometimes I might say, why don't you call me when you're not driving? But it's the only time I have. Okay. I like to make sure people are safe when they're speaking to me. And driving is okay, right? We make quick calls. But I know if you're busy. You ever hear someone making noise, you know, typing, and I'm guilty of that too sometimes. I'm listening and I'm typing and I'm thinking, maybe that seems, I could be taking notes, but sometimes I'm wondering, when I'm speaking, if someone is taking notes or they're just doing something else, and I'm thinking, if this wasn't the right time, then maybe we should reschedule. So I am grateful for the people that give their time to me and let me know that it's important to them. Because I would like to be guilty of doing that, giving someone my undivided attention. Because multitasking has just become a norm for us. We don't do one thing at a time anymore. We do so many things. That's why I want to get back into swimming. Because you have to focus on that. You have to stay up in the water. I know this is good for me. I am going to go into our pool. I just have to push the button, go to the elevator, get off the 7th floor. Maybe it's not this big Olympic pool, but I think just getting in the water will give me a chance to focus. So let's talk about one secret thing that we want to do. And let's be accountable. Let's put it out there. Let's give everybody an opportunity to think for themselves. Because they won't be able to say anything on the show. They'll say it to themselves, or they'll call an accountability partner. I would like, before the summer is up, to get into my pool and start paddling, swimming, whatever I do in that water. I would like to start to do that. So that's my secret I have to do it list. What about you? You want to share something?
Funny that you mentioned the pool, since I've worked on my pool 2 days this week and didn't get very many results done, and then it rained again today, so the results that I had worked on are really back to where they were before. But yes, that is actually, that has been one of my goals also. One, I've always had the pool, you know, for the kids. But I've also thought, you know, for one, I'm trying to get back into shape. So, of course, you know, swimming is a great thing to get back into shape. But then also, it's funny, the same thing, like what you said, you know, when I'm in the pool, I can't multitask. I can't read a book. I can't text on my phone. I can't work on my computer. I can't, you know, do 50 things. I can only focus on what I'm doing. And that is something that's healthy for me, that is something that I want to do also. So that is one of my goals this week, is to get back out there and get all the water off of our cover so we can open up our pool, since it's already the end of June and I still hadn't done that yet.
Well, we both have that on our mind. I have a quick question. Can you see me at this moment? Because my screen just did something funny.
I do see you. Yes.
Okay. Okay, super. Thank you. Because it looks like it's asking me to log back in. So when I do that, if I get, here we are. Okay, super.
Yes.
Well, I think that when we think about our health, and because we also spend time together, but we have a connection, we know that swimming is a good thing for us. We know that eating well is good for us. We also know that sharing our gratitude is good for us too, and it's good for other people. So what we I guess need to do. So sorry. Again, Lori, pardon me. My screen was doing something funny. So what we need to do is be aware of our surroundings. Pay attention to the people around us. We know that when we put ourselves in a situation, let's say a swimming pool, for example, we will focus, and we know that's really good for us. Focusing is so important. Even when we're daydreaming, coming back into the moment, that exercise of coming back in, that focus is part of the exercise. It's like swimming. Just a quick analysis, because I'm reading a book for months over and over again called Focus by Daniel Goleman. Strongly recommend it. It's wonderful. We spend our time being experts at what we do. Sometimes I leave myself open and say, what am I going to learn to do next? What's the new thing that's going to come into my life that will make me a better person? And when I think about gratitude, it's not what I know, it's what I don't know. The new things that are going to happen to us that are going to make us stronger, that will give us a chance to put our hand out to help someone along, or put our hand out and have somebody pull us along. Depends on what we need. Sometimes it's a pull, sometimes it's a push. But as long as we're aware that that's around us. Whenever I take a walk with my husband, I know that no matter where we are walking, his eyes are always, always checking where I am and what I need. When I take a walk with David, I completely relax, because I know I don't really have to look. I know he's looking. It's an amazing walk. I've started to leave my phone at home. I've started to take the walk and not multitask. What a difference. If we walk and exercise for our health, why omit our mind? Our mind needs to be healthy and relaxed and exercised and energized. So my tip about what I'm grateful for is to David always looking out for me, and me realizing that enjoying it would be that much more enjoyable for him. But when he's looking out for me and I'm texting and walking, that can't be fun. So I stopped doing that, and I look like a person who enjoys their walk now. And we actually have conversation. We dream. If we go on a walk together and I've got my phone in my hand, you know, basically if you're walking next to me, you probably don't really need me there anyway. But if we're looking at the sunset or the sunrise, we're looking at the same dog running across the beach, isn't that what we want? We want to have that experience. So I'm really keeping my eyes open, my ears open, and becoming more aware of my surroundings. I believe people around me are happier for it. That's my gratitude tip on how I'm working on myself. Because we all need to be better for who we are. And we can be better, and so can those around us. We need to set a good example.
That's right. And I remember, you know, something that you just said reminds me of my children when they were little. You know, we always say, you know, focus and pay attention, right? And so you remember when you tell your kids to do something, you know, and you say, you know, look at my eyes. Are you listening to me? This is what I'm telling you to do. So you get their attention, so they're going to remember it, so they're going to actually do what you instructed them to do, right? And I remember times when my children, when they were little, and they would come up to me, and of course I'm multitasking, doing several things at once, because as a busy mom, you know, a lot of times we have to. But I remember a time when one of the kids came up to me and said, "Mommy, look at my eyes, look at me," you know, because they're trying to talk to me, and I'm like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And of course, yes, because I was focusing on something else, and they knew that I was not focusing on them because I was not stopping and looking at their eyes and paying attention.
Mm.
And so how important is that when you're, you know, especially with your children, but with anybody in life, you know, if you're, why waste your breath if you're talking to them or them talking to you, if you're not going to pay attention and give that person the respect of being there with them, you know, in that moment, and blocking out everything else around you and giving them your attention. You know, it's only going to be for, you know, a minute or two, more than likely, right? And so block everything else out and give them your attention and listen and really listen.
And how about the exercise, Lori? And different people listen different ways, right? Some people don't need to focus and look at someone, but they focus mentally, and that's their style. But here's a very interesting exercise that we used to do in our lifestyle practice. So, for example, let's say I want to say something to you. I say, Lori, let's do this communication exercise. I'll just do it really quick, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I'll just give this the gist of it. So, Lori, let's talk about something, and then I would like you to repeat to me what you heard. So in our conversation, I will tell you what I have on my mind. You'll tell me what you heard, and when I agree that that's what I heard, then that's when you get to say what you want to say. And then the answer isn't yes, dear, right? That's not the reply. So, for example, I will say, Lori, I'm really excited we're going to see each other in July. I'd love to make plans so that we can have 24 hours together and perhaps have some time alone. Okay, so now can you tell me what it is that you've heard?
That you're looking forward to seeing me in July and to have 24 hours or more together alone.
Right, thank you. That's a simple example. And now that I feel heard and I've acknowledged that that's what I said, then it would be your turn to speak. So, for example, when we're doing some couple exercises, and you know how sometimes a friendship, a relationship, where two people just don't feel that they've been heard because two people are speaking at each other. It's not about saying, oh, yes, 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 I understand you don't like when I leave the dishes in the sink, for example. It's not about that. It's really feeling that you have heard me by you repeating and me accepting that that's what I said. So if I say that's not what I heard, that's not what that's not what I said to you, that's not what I meant, I'll try. It won't be that you're getting it wrong. It could be that I'm not communicating it straight. So in communication, in focusing, in being grateful, in listening to those around us, let us repeat to the person what we heard so that we're not going off in one direction and they're going off in another. Being a good listener usually labels you a great conversationalist. That's why I love speaking with you. And we are both very communicative, and we both make sure that we know what each other is saying. And I love that, because there is no misunderstanding. We have a year of doing our show together, and we're both crystal clear on everything we want to do. We've got it in pat. We can say that. For us, we have our communication at a level 4, that's the highest, or level 9, whatever level we want to call it. We are very clear about our communication. And then if we're not, well, then we'll bring it up, put it on the table. So what I would like to say is thank you to you for listening to me and for having our show be a total success and a dream come true. Because next month, we're going to have our 1-year anniversary.
That is right. We are almost at a whole year already. Believe it?
Will we be wearing party hats at that show?
I don't know. We should find something, shouldn't we?
Yes. Well, I was working on something tonight. As we spoke about earlier, I don't want to say too much to the audience, but we're certainly going to have a 1-year celebration, correct?
That's right. Yes.
What if we ask our audience this? If you have any suggestions about what you would like to see at our let's think about, we'll have a guest, either what you'd like to see or some subjects that you'd like us to discuss. I guess it could be called an anniversary or a celebration, along with the gratitude stories that we're reading. Perhaps our audience can send us what you would like to hear us or watch us talk about in relation to an anniversary. Everybody's had an anniversary for something. For us, it will be 1 year. So we can touch on the topics with our guest of celebrations. Can we put that out there to our audience, and then we will incorporate that into our show next month?
Yes, that sounds wonderful. Yes, send us your suggestions and your ideas or anything you can think of that you might want us to talk about or share on our show, or if you want to be on our show also in the next year, then send us that story as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that's a great idea. So should we tell our audience how they can do this? How can they share this information with us?
Yes, absolutely. So you can always share your gratitude stories with us, always by going to our Facebook page. That's at www.facebook.com/gratitudegirls. And we can let you know when your story could be featured on our show. We'll get our schedules together and figure out when we can have you on our show. Catherine, do you have anything else that you want to share with everybody tonight?
Yes, I do. I'd like to say that I really enjoy the element of surprise. And I think what we could put on the table is, for this year with the Gratitude Girls, there will be more surprises. If there weren't enough last year, there will be more. They will all be fun surprises. And if you have some ideas on what you would like us to do when you're on the show, please incorporate that into your message to us. So Gratitude Girls will always give some tips on gratitude. We'll always share what's going on in our life, so you can hear how we overcome obstacles and how we celebrate our successes and how we see the new challenges in our life. And we'd like to know how that works for you as well. So please keep the communication coming. We really enjoy the phone calls and the emails and the text. We enjoy all of it because we're planning with so many of you, and you know who you are, to put you into the schedule for next year. The surprise is also something that we're going to have in store for you. Lori, I love our time together. It just goes by so fast, but I'm grateful that we both have the time set aside. And next month, it will be the 4th Tuesday. What is the date for July, just to tell our audience in case there are more than 4 Tuesdays in the month?
The 4th Tuesday of July is the 22nd.
Thank you. So that's when our show is, the 22nd.
It will be the Tuesday night after we get back from Michigan.
Good point. Okay, so we'll be together face to face. We might have a surprise while we're in Michigan. Aren't we working on that?
We just might.
Okay, all right. So stay tuned for our news and for our surprise shows. And for sure, the last Tuesday of next month, we'll be celebrating together our 1-year anniversary, our birthday.
That's right, yes. We will see you the fourth Tuesday of next month at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain, or 6:30 Pacific. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.